A lot of NBA players will go on some insane stretches. I mean, we've seen Harden do it, Dame do it, Steph do it, but it's not often a guy goes from basically a no-namer to the biggest star in the league.
Biggest star in the league? How about biggest star in the world? You couldn't go 2 blocks without someone telling you about Jeremy Lin. Dude went from a straight nobody to just everywhere.
Before we start talking about the craziness that was Linsanity, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you never miss out on any new videos. This story really starts with the Knicks point guard situation. We've talked about it a little bit before, but it was just a complete mess.
It was crap.
It was complete crap. You had Chauncey, he got waived because they wanted to get Tyson Chandler. Good move by them. Amon Shumpert was a rookie. Wasn't really a point guard, he's more of a 2. And then you had Tony Douglas, Mike Bibby. They signed an injured Baron Davis. The whole time Carmelo was there, they did not have a point guard.
You said they waived Chauncey to make room for Tyson Chandler. They couldn't have waived someone else. Chauncey was still good.
So they bring in Jeremy Lin. He's barely in the NBA. If Baron Davis was actually healthy during this time, he probably wouldn't have been in the NBA. First couple months, he gets some DMPs, and then he gets a little bit more playing time. Dan Toney even said, he got lucky because we're playing so bad. I decided to play him. He played this game against the Celtics. It was really his first little stretch, but the start of Linsanity was the game specifically against the Nets.
Oh, were they playing like in this game too? So Dan Toney was like, f it, I'll throw the kid in.
He's like, might as well. Like, I'm just going to throw him in. They lost 11 of their last 13 games.
Can't get worse.
Yeah, can't really do worse than that. Let's just throw in Jeremy Lin and see what happens.
Yeah, the Knicks were 8-15 entering this game. Not great, but Jeremy Lin checks in with the Knicks down 4. Dude changed the energy like that.
I mean, it was just so weird to see. Looking back at the highlights, he kind of was doing everything, getting assists. He was pretty good in the pick and roll. I did not remember him being that good in the pick and roll, but he was throwing lobs, getting buckets. And what's funny about this first game, because of everything that happened later we'll talk about, Carmelo Anthony at halftime suggested to Mike D'Antoni, hey, Jeremy Lin should play more in the second half.
And play more he did. Took over in the 4th quarter, 12 points. I just remember this dude was somehow amazing at slashing to the basket.
He was.
Dude could attack the rim like nobody's business, and it made no sense.
Yeah, so the Knicks end up getting the W. It's a much needed win. They desperately need to win. Jeremy Lin gets 25 points on 19 shots, 7 assists. But I think a lot of NBA fans, and even Knicks fans, were like, oh, this is just a one-hit one.
Yeah, because that's what it always is.
He's not doing this again.
Like when Skal Labissiere for the Blazers has a game where he gets 25 points, no one's like, oh yeah, let's keep playing him. He's gonna do that again.
But the thing is, he kept doing it again. They play against the Jazz this next game. Mike D'Antoni is like, let's just start this kid. Why not? And he just immediately picked up where he left off. He was great in the pick and roll. He had 7 assists in the second quarter alone. And this is the game where Carmelo Anthony left in the first quarter with a groin injury.
And so the jealousy began.
Yeah.
One of the 7 deadly scenes. Carmelo, like the kid's playing well. He's not the long-term answer for the Knicks. Your team's playing well. Just let it go.
But back to Jeremy Lin, 28 points, 8 assists, did have 8 turnovers. We'll talk more about the turnover issue here later, but again, if you're a Knicks fan, you're like, we just found a diamond here. Like, this dude's insane.
Yeah, I mean, he's getting you wins, he's getting points, he's getting assists. What's wrong with that?
Yeah, pretty good.
Third game, though, going on the road against the Washington Wizards. First game on the road, first game against an actually really good point guard, John Wall. Yeah, he played against Darren Williams, but Darren Williams ain't the athlete that John Wall is. I think a lot of people are like, oh, Wall's gonna shut him down. And the Knicks starting lineup they rolled out in this game, oh boy, it's bad. It's Jeremy Lin, it's Landry Fields, it's Henry Walker. Who?
Exactly.
It's Jared Jeffries, and it's Tyson Chandler. That is egregious.
Yeah, that's insane. You have Tyson Chandler, who, this is Defensive Player of the Year Tyson Chandler, so he was legit, but everyone else, it's like, how are these dudes even in the NBA?
Who is Henry Walker?
Yeah, I don't even know. He had like a 3 in this game, I think.
I remember Landry Fields, and I remember Jared Jeffries. Who is Henry Walker?
What the hell is that?
I don't know, but Jeremy Lin carried him to the W. He had this crazy dunk in the third quarter where the lane just opened for him and he threw it down. Finished with 23 points, 10 assists, 23 points on 14 shots. Pretty damn good. And the dude he outplayed John Wall in his building.
And that takes us back to Madison Square Garden. In one of the games of the year against the Lakers, the hype for this game was off the charts. It was Kobe versus Jeremy Lin. Right, sure. Kobe was asked about Lin ahead of the game. and he kind of seemed pissed about it.
I don't even know what he's done. I have no idea what you guys are talking about. I'll take a look at it tonight, though.
What's funny, Jeremy Lin at this point, he said he was kind of just couch surfing because he's barely in the league. Didn't have a car, so he's taking a taxi. And apparently on the screen, in the taxi, they had like a screen. And that's when he first saw the Kobe interview.
Oh.
And he's like, okay. On the way to the game.
He was taking taxis to games
Yes.
in the middle of Linsanity.
In the middle of Linsanity.
That's humble right there.
It is. And he saw that interview and he's like, okay, you're going to know Jeremy Lin after tonight.
I'm a body Kobe in this
Yeah.
game. And body him he did. Started with 10 points in the first quarter, had an amazing spin move on Derek Fisher in the second quarter, and again in the fourth. This dude just had a knack for taking over. The Knicks were like, it, just go ISO. Hit a jumper over Gasol, hit a massive three. Dude dropped 38 points and 7 assists on Kobe Bryant.
That's crazy. Madison Square Garden during this time was rocking, honestly, like I've never seen it before. That place was going crazy. Everybody loved Jeremy Lin. And how about this stat? 79 points in his first 3 starts, the most by any player since the merger.
Really?
Yeah, not Jordan, not LeBron, not any of these guys, Jeremy Lin.
I'm keeping that in mind whenever I'm at an NBA trivia event.
Yeah.
Because you know they'll ask some bull like that.
Exactly, it's good for NBA trivia.
Hassan Whiteside
Is incorrect. Kenny the Jet Smith
I'm gonna go with Sabonis.
is incorrect. Charles.
Rudy Gobert.
Good gracious.
Wait, I meant Southside.
But after this game, like, the media hype was already crazy. This made it just out of control.
It was a freight train that had its brakes shorted out.
Yeah, exactly. He did cool down a little bit the next game. He played against the Timberwolves, had 20 points, but 24 shots. I mean, who really cared? The Knicks were still hyped because they got another victory.
Shout out to Steve Novak, who was balling out down the stretch. And you know what? Shout out to Steve Novak for being one of the best brawn beasts in 2K My
Yes.
Team history. Dude was a guaranteed 3 in like Div 10 and lower.
Jeremy Lin named Eastern Conference Player of the Week.
Duh.
And the game I honestly think about when I think of Linsanity is this game at the Raptors.
Okay, I kind of hate this game. This is a super picky thing, but you know like how the NBA always releases on their YouTube channel like top 10 plays of the year per year?
Yeah.
This game-winning 3 was like the 3rd best play of the year. And I was like, that's bullshit. I'm sorry.
That is bullshit. But I've never seen a 3 where an opposing player hits a 3 and the entire crowd is going absolutely insane.
Well, clearly you haven't been to a lot of Blazer-Laker games.
Fair.
Or Blazer-Warrior games. There's Warrior fans all over the place.
It literally felt after he hit that 3 like
No,
it was a
you're
home
right.
game.
You are right.
Like even the crowd reaction as he's lining up to hit the 3, they're going nuts before it even goes in.
I tell you what, Jeremy's face is so hilarious when he's looking back at the bench. It's just kind of like his like bottom lip is down just like a little bit, and it's just got those like 1,000-yard stare eyes where he's like, oh yeah, I'm
He's
that
like,
guy.
yeah, this is my team now. This is my city. This is my damn league at this point is what it felt like.
And you know Carmelo's watching from the bench or he's watching on a monitor somewhere. He's just like, this kid.
Yeah, you know he was just pissed.
Next game against the Kings, I mean, he had 10 points, which not great, but 13 assists.
Yeah.
Dude was spreading the rock. Like, and it's the Kings, yeah, but still, I mean, for the Knicks who are crap, that's 7 wins in a row. They're back at 500 now.
Yeah, they're back at 500. D'Antoni's job at the moment is basically saved. Melo's been out this entire time. Amari's been out for games. And somehow Jeremy Lin and Tyson Chandler together on a 7-game winning streak.
Where amazing happens.
It is. It's where amazing happens. And speaking of amazing, the Hornets, who were 6-23 the next game, beat the Knicks to end this streak in Madison Square Garden.
That's typical Knicks.
Classic
right there.
Knicks.
Classic Knicks.
And Jeremy Lin again, he was decent. 26 points, 5 assists.
I love how 26 points and 5 assists. Oh, he was decent.
Well, hold on. Here's the problem. He had 9 turnovers.
Oh, yeah, that's not great.
Yeah, that is not good at all.
That's bad.
And another trivia stat, if you want to know one, he had 45 turnovers in his first 7 starts, which is the most turnovers since they began tracking them in 1977.
Ooh, that's bad. And the last game of kind of like the initial Linsanity hype was against the Dallas Mavericks. And you know what? Fair play to the kid. Bounced back. 28 points, 14 assists, 5 steals. He did turn the ball over 7 more times, which is like, come on, man. But the Knicks, they won 104-97. And again, they're back to 500. And what What a time to be alive this was.
I know. It was just insane. Like, you had an Asian American just balling the hell out. Some dude that came out of nowhere, went to Harvard, was undrafted. I think everybody just kind of loved him because...
How can you not?
Yeah, it's just like an underdog story.
The dude's taking
nowhere.
The dude's taking a taxi to games.
That's insane.
How can you not love that?
But there were actually, I guess there was one person that wasn't loving it. Carmelo Anthony.
Yeah, we've mentioned that like 4 or 5 times already.
But he's back to the lineup. And the game he comes back after they win 7 of 8, they end up losing.
Yeah, this was kind of around the time where I think everyone started to look at Melo and be like, is he really as good as everyone thinks he is? Like, I love Melo to death, but he doesn't mix well with others.
No, he really doesn't. He learned a bit later in his career, but even then, it took him being out of the league for like a year for him to even learn that. And that was really his greatest downfall his entire time. Wasn't a team player whatsoever.
No. And Jeremy Lin, he finished up the season pretty well. He had some games where he played decently. He did also have some games where he played terribly. And I remember specifically was the first time that Jeremy Lin played against the Miami Heat. This was another game that, like the Lakers game, was hyped to the moon. And Jeremy Lin played like 8 points on 1 of 11 shooting, 8 turnovers, 3 assists, and the Knicks got mopped by Miami.
Yeah, that stat line, I can't think of many stat lines that are worse than that.
8 points, 8 turnovers.
Yeah, on 1 of 11 shooting and only 3 assists. They were just hounding him, and I'm sure LeBron and D-Wade were like, we're gonna send this kid a message. Like, this dude had his fun in the league, but it ain't his league,
He
it's
had
our
his fun
league.
against Sacramento. And,
Right.
And well, I guess not the Hornets, but we're gonna teach this kid what it's like.
He participated in All-Star Weekend, the Rising Stars game. He originally wasn't on the roster for it, but the NBA's like, we gotta add this guy at this point. Only had 2 points, but I'm sure it was a fun moment. But things kind of just went downhill quickly with Melo in the lineup. He was playing more off-ball, his shooting percentage declined. What really killed him was Mike D'Antoni resigned on March 14th.
Yeah, the guy who's steroids for scoring guards resigns. And I think Mike Woodson, who took over, I think Mike Woodson's a really good coach. He's not a really good coach for Jeremy Lin.
No, he is not the Jeremy Lin coach. It was much more like ISO, feed Melo, stand around, where D'Antoni's got that moving offense and everything. And even worse, Lin ends up tearing his meniscus and he missed the rest of the season.
Really sucks because I would have loved to see Jeremy Lin in the playoffs for the Knicks.
Oh, that would have been so much fun.
I believe they played Miami in the first round, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Well, he didn't have a great showing the first time around, but maybe if,
yeah, you never know.
They ran it back, you know what? Maybe he could have made some noise.
And then that offseason, the Knicks had an opportunity to bring him back, and I think a lot of people, including myself, thought, you gotta bring him back.
I was shocked that it wasn't like instant, we're bringing him back.
They didn't, though. The Rockets signed him to a 4-year, $28 million contract, which again, to hate on Melo, he called that contract ridiculous.
Like ridiculous too much? Or
Yes.
Really?
Yep.
That's ridiculous too much?
And the Knicks had the option, they could have matched the contract.
And they didn't.
No, they did not. They let him walk, and in hindsight, honestly, isn't really a bad move. He didn't really do much for the Rockets, but you never know. Maybe D'Antoni doesn't resign. He re-signs with the Knicks. He could have had a different career.
Becomes a perennial all-star.
Yeah, exactly. Could have.
Probably not, but it's fun to dream.
An MVP.
No. I'll shut that one down right away.
Fair.
Going to the Rockets, I mean, he wasn't the worldwide sensation he was with the Knicks, but you know what? For the Rockets, Jeremy Lin was pretty good. He had some good moments in the playoffs against the Blazers. He ended up going to the Hornets, the Nets, and hey, dude won an NBA championship with the Toronto Raptors in 2019.
Yeah, he's a champion. He had some great moments. He had that moment for the Lakers where he waved off Kobe at the end of that game and then hit that shot. I love that moment. So he had a great career. Like, if you're Jeremy Lin after everything you've been through, I know he's had some tough moments trying to get back in the league, but he's hooping in Taiwan right now. He's a champion. Just love his story.
Absolutely.
So what was your favorite moment from Linsanity? Let us know in the comments below. If you enjoyed the video, please consider giving a like. And hey, while you're here, check out some of our other videos as well. And don't forget to subscribe to Synthetic Sports.